My name is Evelyn. I am 35 years old. I live with my husband George and our 2 daughters. Our older daughter is 14 years old, and our younger daughter is only 2 years old. We live in a small apartment. It is simple, but it is our home. For many years, I believed we had a happy life. George is much older than me. He is 52 years old. We have been married for 16 years. Every day, George goes to work, and I stay at home. My job is to take care of our daughters and the house. I cook, clean, and make sure the girls are safe and happy. I thought everything was good. I thought George loved me, and I loved him very much. But over time, things began to change. At first, I did not see it clearly. George started coming home late. He said he had a lot of work at the office. I believed him. I trusted him because we had always shared everything. But after many weeks, I began to feel something was wrong. George was quiet at home. He did not smile like before. He looked at his phone a lot. Sometimes, when I entered the room, he quickly put his phone down. My heart started to feel heavy. One evening, George was sitting on the sofa, reading a message on his phone. He was smiling while reading. I felt nervous. I asked him, "Who are you talking to, George?" He looked at me and said, "It's nothing, it's work." His voice was cold. I tried to believe him, but deep inside, I felt something was not right. That night, while George was sleeping, I could not stop thinking. My heart was full of fear. Quietly, I took his phone and looked through it. Many of his messages were deleted. My hands were shaking. I found only a few messages, but they seemed strange. They were short, and they did not look like work messages. My stomach hurt. I could not sleep that night. My mind was full of worry. The next morning, I tried to stay calm. After breakfast, I asked George again, "George, please tell me the truth. Are you seeing someone else?" His face changed. He became very angry. "Why do you always make problems? There is nothing going on." "Stop this nonsense," he shouted. His words hurt me. I felt small and weak. I did not want to fight, but I could not forget my worries. Later that day, I looked at our phone bill. I wanted to find answers. I saw one phone number that George called almost every day. My heart started to race. My hands were cold. I decided to call the number. A woman answered the phone. Her voice was calm and soft. "Hello?" she said. I asked her, "Who are you?" She was silent for a moment and then said, "I think you know who I am. I am with George." My eyes filled with tears. My world felt like it was falling apart. The woman told me she was the same age as me. She had a daughter too. She was also married. I felt sick. How could George do this to me? How could he hurt our family like this? That night, when George came home, I could not hide my pain. I looked at him and said, "I know everything now. Please tell me the truth." But George refused to talk. He said, "I will stop when I want to stop. You cannot tell me what to do." His voice was cold. His eyes showed no care for my feelings. I cried for many hours. My daughters were sleeping, and I sat alone in the kitchen. My heart was broken. I thought about everything. We had built this family together. We had promised to stay together forever. And now my husband was with another woman. I felt lost. I asked myself many questions. Did I do something wrong? Was I not good enough? My mind was full of sadness and confusion. The days after that were very hard. I still had to care for my daughters. I still had to cook, clean, and smile for them. I wanted to protect them from the pain, but inside I was breaking. My simple life, which once made me happy, had become full of pain and fear. I did not know what the future would bring. But I knew one thing, my life would never be the same again. After I discovered the truth about George, things became worse. I hoped he would stop seeing the other woman. I hoped he would choose our family, but he did not stop. Instead, he became colder toward me and the children. Each day, I could feel him moving farther away from us. His eyes no longer looked at me with love. His words became short and cold. George started controlling our money. Before, we always planned our finances together. We had a loan for our apartment. The apartment was in my name, but both of us paid for it. Now, George made decisions without telling me. Each month, I noticed we had less and less money. Our savings were going down quickly. I became very worried. One evening, I sat with George at the table and asked, "George, where is all the money going?" He looked at me with no emotion in his face and said, "Don't worry about it. I will handle everything." But I knew that was not true. I started checking our bank account. My hands shook as I looked at the numbers on the screen. I saw payments for expensive restaurants, jewelry stores, and shops. He was spending a lot of money on his girlfriend. My stomach felt sick. That money was for our children's needs, for our apartment, and for our future. But George did not care about that anymore. The stress was too much for me. I could not eat. I lost weight quickly. I could not sleep at night. My head was full of worries and my body felt weak. One day, I went to see the doctor. He checked my health and said softly, "Evelyn, you need rest. You are very stressed. You must take care of yourself." But how could I rest? My husband was with another woman. My family was falling apart. I felt helpless and scared every day. Even my daughters noticed the changes. My older daughter, who was only 14, became very quiet. She stopped seeing her friends. She no longer smiled like before. She stayed in her room for hours. One night, she finally spoke to her father. Her voice was shaking when she said, "Dad, please stop this. You are hurting us." George became angry. His voice was loud and harsh. He shouted at her, "Stay out of this. You don't understand." I held my daughter as she cried in my arms. I whispered to her, "Don't worry. Everything will be okay." But deep inside, I was not sure if things would ever be okay again. I talked to my best friend about my problems. She listened carefully. After a long talk, she said, "Evelyn, maybe you should leave George." Her words scared me. I knew she wanted the best for me, but I felt trapped. I had no job. I had no income of my own. I had 2 children to care for. I did not know how to live without George's financial help. I felt stuck between my pain and my fear of the future. My family also tried to comfort me. They said, "Maybe George will change his mind. Maybe he will come back to you." I wanted to believe them. I still loved George, even though he had hurt me deeply. My heart hoped that he would see his mistakes and return to us. I prayed every night for him to come back. But George continued to stay away from home more often. Sometimes he did not come home at all. He said he was working late, but I knew he was with her. He no longer called me. He no longer sent me any messages. I stayed awake most nights, waiting and hoping he would walk through the door. Many times, the sun came up and he was still not home. One day, George told me he wanted to take a trip. My heart felt nervous again. I asked, "Can we go together as a family?" But he answered coldly, "No, I want to go alone." His answer broke my heart once again. I could not understand why he didn't want us with him. Every word from George felt like a knife cutting my heart little by little. The storm inside my life kept growing stronger. My simple and peaceful world had turned into a place full of sadness and fear. Every day, I tried to hold my family together. I tried to smile for my daughters, to protect them from the pain, but inside I was falling apart. I did not know how long I could carry this pain. I did not know if George would ever return to us. But one thing I knew for sure, I still loved him, and I still hoped that maybe one day he would remember our family and come back home. One evening, something happened that changed my life forever. After many nights of waiting, George finally came home. His face was serious. He did not smile. He sat at the kitchen table and looked at me. My heart was beating very fast. I was scared. I asked him, "What is it, George?" He spoke slowly but firmly. "Evelyn, I don't love you anymore." His words hit me like a knife. Even though I had feared this moment, hearing him say it out loud broke my heart completely. I sat there, frozen. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. But I could not say anything. My voice was shaking when I finally asked, "So, what happens now?" George looked down and said, "I'm leaving." He stood up and began to pack his things. I sat on the sofa, watching him in silence. My face was wet with tears, but I did not wipe them away. George packed his clothes, his books, his watch, and other personal things. My heart wanted to scream, "Please stay." But my mouth stayed closed. I could not stop him. Before he left, he went to our daughters. He hugged them and kissed their foreheads. He whispered, "I'm really sorry." Our daughters started crying and begged him not to leave. "Please don't go, Daddy," they said, but George said nothing more. He sighed, opened the door, and walked out. I sat in the dark for a long time. The house was so quiet. I heard his car drive away. The silence after he left was louder than any sound. My body hurt from crying. My heart felt completely broken. The next morning, I woke up and reached for his side of the bed. It was empty. Then I remembered. He was gone. The pain in my chest was heavy. I wanted to cry again, but I needed to stay strong for my daughters. I smiled at them, even though inside I was still broken. Many times, I picked up my phone and thought about sending George a message, but I stopped myself each time. I knew he was with her now. I knew that sending him a message would not change anything. I had to accept the truth. One day, while walking past a coffee shop, I saw him. George was sitting at a table with the other woman. She was beautiful. They were smiling and looked very happy together. My legs felt weak. My heart started to race. For a moment, I wanted to run away or maybe even scream. But I did not. I stood there for a few seconds, then quietly turned and walked away. When I arrived home, I locked the door and sat on the floor. I cried again, but this time the crying felt different. It was like I was letting go of everything. I knew that George was not coming back. I knew that my life had changed forever. But I also knew that I needed to move forward for myself and for my daughters. The next morning, I made a very big decision. I took off my wedding ring and placed it inside a small box. I made breakfast for my daughters. I sat by the window and drank my coffee. My heart still hurt, but I felt something new inside me. It was a small feeling of strength. I looked at my daughters playing and laughing. They were my reason to stay strong. I knew I had to be both mother and father for them now. I promised myself that I would not let this pain destroy me. I would survive. One day I would smile again. One day I would wake up and not feel sad when I thought about George. And maybe one day I would find love again. But today my goal was simple. I would survive and care for my children. Life is full of difficult moments. Sometimes we feel like we cannot handle the pain. But every ending is also a new beginning. Time does not erase the pain, but it helps heal the wounds. Each day, I became a little stronger. Each day, I learned to smile a little more. I knew that with time, I would find peace again. Evelyn's story was full of love, pain, and strength. At first, she lived a simple life with her husband George and their 2 daughters. She was a caring wife and mother. She trusted George. She believed they had a happy family. But everything changed when she discovered that George was seeing another woman. Even when Evelyn found out the truth, she still hoped that George would return to his family. She tried to keep the family together for the sake of their daughters. She faced many difficulties. George spent money on his girlfriend while their family struggled. He stopped coming home, stopped calling, and showed no care for Evelyn's feelings. Evelyn felt weak, sad, and lost. Her older daughter also suffered. She became quiet and sad. But Evelyn stayed strong for her children. She continued to care for them, even when her own heart was breaking. The most painful moment came when George finally said, "I don't love you anymore," and left the family. Evelyn was completely heartbroken. She cried for many nights. She saw him later with his new girlfriend, happy and smiling. That moment made her realize that she needed to let go. Slowly, Evelyn found the courage to move forward. She took off her wedding ring. She focused on her daughters and promised herself that she would survive for them. Even though her heart still hurt, she began to feel stronger each day. She learned that life is full of pain, but also full of new beginnings. The lesson we learn from Evelyn's story is powerful. Sometimes, people we love may hurt us deeply. Life can bring unexpected pain. But even in the darkest times, we can find strength inside ourselves. We can choose to stand up, move forward, and build a new life. Time will not erase the pain completely, but it can help heal the heart. If you are facing difficulties in life, remember Evelyn's courage. No matter how painful it feels today, with time and strength, you will find peace again. Always take care of yourself and your loved ones. And never lose hope, because better days will come. Congratulations! You have listened to and understood the full story. By following along, you have improved your English listening and understanding skills. Now, here is a small question for you to answer. Why did George leave Evelyn? A. Because he had to work more. B. Because he fell in love with another woman. Please write your answer A or B in the comments below. We would love to see your answers. Also, if you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Your support helps us create more beautiful and helpful content for you. If you feel kind, you can also donate to help us. In the beginning, it is very difficult for us to create high-quality content because we are doing this work for free to help you learn English. Every donation, big or small, gives us the strength to continue. Thank you very much for listening and learning with us. See you in the next story.